I just finished putting together my sr-15, swapped out some optics, lasers, and just finished testing up the pressure pad on here on the front. Knights makes a great gun, fully kind of ambi, bolt, mag, safety, all that kind of stuff. KAC's, flash hider, different than the muzzle brake, so kind of designed to cover that flash. Little mini CQD, PRT, had like an Arisaka kind of rail mount device that allows kind of close up, especially on the M-lock, and tucks in really nice, so kind of snag hazard. Like a mod light head, it's only white light, doesn't switch like the Vampire. There's no pressure pad on it, so I mean the push button over here, the positive one, is something that I prefer and really like, along with the TXC kind of hand stop, so whether it's right-handed or left, it's like the same grip. I have my pinky stopper here. Really kind of low profile, not super pronounced, but it's really functional. I really like. But I mean, me being left-handed, I kind of S-folded this cable right here and tried to protect it as much as possible, getting it right under this rail. And since I'm left-handed, carrying over here, having it on the opposite side kind of protects a little more, but have, both those M-lock rails on each side. I messed around with them being on a 90 or 45. I've kind of found that 45 I like, but I bounce around every now and then. But where I put it, it clears like my hand grip. So again, it's not impeding my hand grip. So it was a big thing. I played around with it being further up and further back, but it's kind of a happy medium. I know guys run them all the way back, but this is a happy medium for me. Moving kind of up, tuck this cable up in the rail and through its little hole, protect the cable best as possible. I've never personally had one cut or fail on me. Hooked up to Ingall. Biggest thing too, making sure that this wrap isn't wrapped so tight that you can't get the ambidextrous feel of it. When you hit the pressure pad, you can feel it. Same with that override button as well. And that was the biggest thing too with the laser height, was making sure that it wouldn't obscure if you touch like this or like that. But it's nice, allowing that full rail cleans it up, gives it a good balance. Just kind of put this EOTech on here. I've run EOTechs for a long time, so always enjoyed their reticle and their optics. Ambi bolt release, lefties, you put the mag in here, it allows your thumb to hit that ambi bolt release, which is super nice. And lefty too, the ambi safety. Got a mag pull handle on it. It's super modular in the sense of how thick or how small your hand is and the general feel of it. So I have that whole piece that comes right up here, which is nice. On Knights, they have QDs right back here, and on the opposite side. So I'll switch from my sling, whether I run my sling there or kind of back on my buttstock on this other piece around here. Cheek riser, just with a raised optic, it gives me the same touch points. So this is a 1/2 inch. We have quarter, half, 3/4, but 1/2 inch. Fits really nice and snug under my comms. So it fits nice. And then this QD right here allows me to put my sling right around here, whether I'm right or left-handed. I know guys will over it, under it, kind of under here, wherever, but it just gives me a good option. Depending on what gear I'm wearing, either bounce from here or here on the QD. It's nice too with this buttstock all the way forward, still being able to fully operate that charging handle. It's nice, it's a lefty, left or right finger pull. So no real complaints. But yeah, overall the gun shoots amazing. 11.5 inch barrel, Geisley trigger in here. I know a lot of guys talk about like if my light's extended kind of where the muzzle brake or flash is it going to break my light? I haven't personally broken any yet, and we've shot a lot with these. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and something to always kind of keep in mind. You always got to clean up the carbon buildup on the lens, but when we run suppress, it just makes it super streamlined, in my opinion. And again, we're working for more rail space, so it's like real world when we're running the suppressor. It runs super smooth, and again, it's kind of out of the way, tucked into the rail. It's not just this big behemoth thing sticking out. You have that suppressor, and you're just buying more rail space. That Arisaka rail mounts kind of my preferred mounting solution for ARs. Tension of the wrap is extremely important, because it's like a happy medium between how hard you want to like tighten it down and keep all the cables and wires in there, but also like the dexterity. I mean, that's a big thing. I'm always consistently checking it when I'm wrapping it and getting it under, the light switch and around, so it's not an abundance of it, but it's enough. And then keeping that tension down with the cable as you wrap it under here. Camoform's great. Amazon. I know a lot of questions about it. So the way I look at this build, I look at it for the functionality of being inside the house. Obviously, you can shoot rounds with the EOTech as far as you feel comfortable and send those rounds, but my personal preference, max 100 yards. Kind of with this, like I can reach out and touch people with magnifiers and different stuff, but it's just kind of purpose built for around the house, wearing kit, CQB. I kind of trying to keep it streamlined, light, and functional. And the modularity of it, you can shrink down the package super small with the buttstock, moving all the way forward if you need to. And again, kind of the ergonomics of the laser, because a lot of times when we grew up, we were shooting based off the laser, never passively shooting with the optic. And now a lot of discussion is about that passive shooting with the optic, the heads-up display. But again, when I look at this, I'm building it purely for assaulting and going inside of structures. If I was to go out in rural distance, maybe put an LPVO or something on it, and have a little bit different setup. Shooting out past 100, 200, you really got to ask yourself like the reality question of you shooting somebody that far out. I know it happens. You have to be capable, but this just specific platform, the 11.5-inch barrel, the small suppressor, it's just designed for being inside the house. No, I mean, like we grew up, the SR-25s being super dependable. They aren't the lightest. They're definitely light, but not the lightest. But, we always stand behind products that we would take to war and trust our lives on it. I think it says enough with what Knights has done since they began on their quality. They don't make the most guns, but they make super high-end quality guns that you can bet your life on. I know they're very hard to get in times, but they keep evolving with the modern technology. I mean, their engineering firm inside of it, it's mind-blowing to see. Great company. Even got a McLaren dealership right attached to their building. It's pretty sick. I mean, it was crazy. We were riding in a golf cart. I mean, they're inside of their building. It was that big. But it's amazing to see their CNC machines. Their, I want to say tombstones as well. I mean, all their tombstones run in different CNC machines, and their quality and care that just goes into building one of these. I'll probably switch out to a flat, Geisley trigger. I grew up on the bowed trigger, but my preference is just the flatter trigger. And then if I can get Knights to send me a muzzle brake vice the flash hider, again, I prefer the muzzle brakes. It keeps the gun a little flatter when you're shooting with the suppressor off. But even with the suppressor on, I've had great results putting the suppressor and muzzle brake on. But besides that, I might change out the mag pull stock to a new one. But besides that, I mean, it's really ready to go. The rail's great, easy to take off if you need to. Optics are great. No complaints. Minus those last kind of minor changes. Be done.